Hi, everybody. This is Tactical 16 Radio, and I am your host, Silent J. See, not really quiet. But what I am is excited. Yay. Can we get any more cheesier? Okay, before I come up with any other cheesy lines, I'm going to start the music and get this show going. That damn music. Fucking music.
Five, four, three, two, one. Tactical 16 Radio.
Fire in the hole!
With Silent J.
I am Silent J, and this is Tactical 16 Radio. Thank you, everybody, for being here. For the people way in the back that can't hear me, thank you very much for being here. Like I said, I'm Silent J. This is Tactical 16 Radio. Every Wednesday from 7 to 9-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you get to hear me on vetsonmedia.com and also see me on Tactical 16 Radio with Silent J, live on YouTube, streaming live. Isn't that cool? For everybody that can hear me, hi, and for everybody that can see me, hello. Anyway, Tactical 16 Radio with Silent J is brought to you by Tactical16.com. That's tactical, the number 16.com. And what we do is we publish books. Not we, I really don't do any of that stuff. But Tactical 16 publishes books written by veteran authors, such as Brave Rifles. See, right there. Brave Rifles. The true story of the trials and tribulations of an American soldier, written by Eric Shaw. He's an E7, so I don't give him too many props because we don't like E7s around here. E6 power, bitches. All right. Anyway, what else? Yeah, so go to tactical16.com and you can get a book, or you can check out your local Barnes & Nobles and see if any of our books are on the shelves, which they should be. And if they're not, demand it, okay? Because I know there's a lot of them in the country that carry Tactical 16 books, all right? So that's that. The other thing, vetsonmedia.com, you see that lovely logo? It's a combat ribbon with headphones, if you haven't noticed. See? Right there. That's pretty cool, huh? Pretty damn spiffy. And then you get to see my logo on there. But anyway, vetsonmedia.com is a pretty cool company that offers veterans and friends of veterans to host their own radio shows, internet radio shows, and podcasts. So you can go to vetsonmedia.com and you could check out the listings of the shows and the times that the shows are on the air, such as this. See? I'm live on the air right now. Isn't that freaking cool? That is awesome. What else? Oh, yeah. I posted a new show of Tactical 16 Radio with Silent J on podbean.com last night. So if you check out Tactical 16 Radio through podbean.com, you can subscribe to the show. And it's also on YouTube. So you can check out Tactical 16 Radio with Silent J on YouTube. The little blue skull logo with the Roman numeral 16 in the center. Okay? So you could do that. And that's pretty cool because what you can do on iTunes, if you're one of the slow kids that haven't caught on over the last, I don't know, 10 years, 11 years that iTunes have been out, I think 10 years, 11 years, I'm not sure. You can subscribe to the show, and you could also rate it and review it. You can leave a review like, oh, the show's so awesome, the host is sexy, and then you could leave 5 stars, okay? But if you're like one of my ex-girlfriends, you can lie to me and you can still leave me 5 stars. You could say I'm a 5-star stud when I'm really, you know, a 1-star type of guy. But go ahead and lie to me. I don't mind it. I enjoy it. Just leave a rating of 5 stars. No more, no less. I would say do more, but you really can't because it only goes up to 5 stars. I would tell you do 7 stars if the option was 7. Hell, I would tell you 15 if the option was 15, even 16. Okay? Anyway, on tonight's show, I'm going to have Adam Bird. Adam is the co-creator and founder of Vets on Media, and he has a show on Wednesday mornings, Pacific time, afternoons on the East Coast, called Vets on Radio with Adam and James. Adam's going to join me, and Adam and I are going to talk about some pretty cool stuff, pretty interesting stuff, some veteran-related stuff. And what that stuff entails is the VA system, namely the VA hospital that's in Phoenix, and the really good job that they've done by sucking. And you know what? I would rather go see Doctors Without Borders instead of going to the VA right about now. And I'm not MFing people that work at the VA. A lot of them care. A lot of them really want to do a great job and a fabulous and a wonderful job. But, you know, there's that percentage of those who don't care. And I would say most of the staff at the VA, at the hospitals itself, are pretty overworked. So, you know, it's one of those things like, what do? Do you blame the people in charge? Which I wholeheartedly do. I really think it's time to completely gut the VA system and get rid of everybody that's in charge of the VA system. Okay? And just start over. Here's the thing. As a nation with a functioning federal government, I use that term loosely, what we can do is tackle very large issues like Social Security, welfare, elections, war. Not all of them are 100%, but I know that the federal government really can have a fully functioning VA system. You can. You know, there's not a lot of vets out there. It's not like there's millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of us. There's maybe a few million, and not everybody goes to the VA. Not everybody seeks treatment from the VA. Maybe more people would seek treatment from the VA if it wasn't a rat race in there. You know, I'm gonna have the luxury of going to the VA in a few months. Now that I'm getting off the AGR program, Active Guard Reserve program, and you know, bye-bye TRICARE Prime Remote, and hello VA system. That's awesome. So I'm trying to eat healthy now, so I don't have to really go there, and you know, we'll see. I get the damn yawns already. Really, I don't know why. Every time I put a microphone in front of my face, I have this insatiable appetite to yawn, and yawning is what I do. So I'm not tired though, I'm just yawning. So Adam and I are going to talk about the VA system, all that stuff, his experiences with it, his ups and downs, and his opinions and things of that nature. And then what we're also going to talk about is Don Sterling, the I guess the quasi owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, and mainly, more importantly, the topic of race and privacy. I'm really kind of on the fence about this whole situation with Don Sterling. I wholeheartedly agree that the guy is an old, rich, racist bastard, and if there's a few things I really can't stand in life, it's people who cheat. Excuse me. People who rip people off, people that are vulnerable, that get ripped off, and racist. I dislike both. Don't go after easy targets. That's what I always say. Go after the hard targets. And being a racist is easy, and ripping off the weak is easy. If you want to be an ass, fine, be an ass, but go after something that could fight back and could take you on. So we're going to talk about Don Sterling and the Clippers and the NBA and the league, and more importantly, what I see is a double standard out there. Trust me, I'm not backing up Sterling at all. He got what's coming to him, and good. I'm glad this is happening to him. But there's a couple things I think that are being glossed over, so to speak. We're going to talk about that, and that whole race topic, and the whole system of the federal government is going to lead me into my second guest of the evening. And that second guest is Charlie Delta. If you don't know who Charlie Delta is, I don't know either. Charlie Delta, I don't know. I don't believe that's his name. But Charlie, let's just call him Chuck, is I guess head of security. I guess I'm just paraphrasing from just what I've read, and maybe he can clarify it a little bit better. Charlie Delta, I guess, is the guy that's in charge of security for Clive, that rancher out in Arizona. That's out in Nevada, who's taking on the federal government over a land dispute and money and taxes and all sorts of other things. And I don't know, I'm 100% behind him from just what I understand of the story. But some stuff, excuse me, Clive Bundy, that's his name. I wanted to say Clive Burton. Clive Bundy. What I was saying before I remembered his name was that Clive Bundy has taken on the federal government over a land and money dispute, and there was I guess for all intents and purposes, a militia kind of formed up around Clive and helped fend off the Bureau of Land Management in Nevada. And Charlie Delta is, I guess, the top guy in his security circle. I don't know. I don't want to overplay what he does. I don't want to undermine what he does. I'm just going by what I've seen in the news and what I've seen online. So we're going to have Charlie on, and we're going to talk about the dispute in Nevada that Clive has with the federal government. And then also, as soon as that story really started to pick up steam, reports surfaced that Clive had some racist remarks, and so we're gonna ask about all that. So, and I think right now live we got Adam Bird. Hey Adam, what's going on, man?
What's happening?
Not too much. I was just I got the battle of the yawns. Every time I sit in front of a microphone, I start yawning for some strange freaking reason. I have no idea why I always do that. I'm dead serious. I'm not tired at all. It's just I sit down in front of a microphone and I just yawn constantly. Even when I was
listening to is that it? Are you telling me you start listening to yourself and you start yawning?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe it's from listening to myself. It's like, oh, this guy's boring. It was really bad when I was on an FM station and I was doing a show at night. And holy shit, again? Really? Huh. The hell, chronic yawning. And I'd be on a FM. I'd be on a show late nights, like 9 to midnight, and I'd be yawning. And it's like my whole job is to keep people awake at that time, and I'm just yawning. So I don't know. But anyway, I talked Adam up. Adam here is with us. He is the co-founder and co-creator of Vets on Media, and he has his own show on Wednesday, my Wednesday afternoon, his Wednesday morning, called Vets on Radio with Adam and James. And when I refer to my radio daddy, Adam is one of my radio daddies, and Sunday nights, Rob and I give our radio daddies radio hugs. So.
So how you been, man? It's first off, thanks for having me on tonight, or nighttime your time. We still got some sun up here, but I think you guys you've been putting on a good you put on a good show, and you're always fun to listen to, and even funner to talk to.
Thanks, man. See, everybody, if Adam can act like one of my ex-girlfriends and pleasantly lie to me, you guys can too by going to iTunes and give me a 5-star rating. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, hold on just a second. Let me take the rest of my pills here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're good. Okay.
Nice. Douchebag. You're listening live to Tactical 16 Radio, soon to be the free agent of Internet Radio, and the current boss, Adam. So I listen to your show as much as I can, and I can't wait to listen to it more when I'm not using the Army network, because I tell you what, trying to stream your show live on an Army network is horrible. And where I work,
yeah, I think they frown on that.
Yeah, but I know the PIN number for somebody else in my office, so sometimes I just use their cat card. But cat's out of the bag on that one. That's okay. But I have Adam on, and we talk a lot. We're on each other's shows periodically, and a big story hit a couple weeks ago about the VA hospital in Phoenix, Arizona, where Adam lives in Arizona. I don't know how close to Phoenix, but
about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were a lot farther than that.
No.
But it turns out the VA hospital in Phoenix has, I guess for all intents and purposes, a death list. A list of just people that they're kind of going over. And I saw one story about a gentleman who had come to find out he had stage 4 like bladder cancer or something like that, and died before he was able to be seen again, even though he had a piece of paper that said see within a week, see immediately. And so far I think they said there's 1,600 people on that list, and 40 or is it more?
I can't comment on how the exact number is. I've heard a couple of different numbers.
Oh, I'm getting my numbers from Anderson Cooper. So. Oh, okay,
that very well could be.
Yeah.
I just saw another. It's funny we're talking about this. Like literally about 20 minutes ago, I just saw another article come out. I'm trying to find it. One of the papers in the West Valley. It said it turns out there was no evidence supporting that there were deaths at the Phoenix VA, blah, 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 blah. So my comment was, it only took you guys a week and a half to come up with a rebuttal.
I mean, that's a rebuttal like what you would say instantly when a cop asks, have you been drinking tonight? No.
Yeah, right.
That's the first thing. No, there's no death list. Nobody died. And the story that I saw, the story that I'm going to quote from, taking quotes from and taking numbers from, is something I saw online through Anderson Cooper's show. And there was a doctor that used to work there, just recently retired, and said there is in fact a list. And I've heard through the story on CNN that a few officials aren't denying that there's not a list, but saying there is a list no more. Which meaning
there was a list that never should have happened.
And it was easily destructible. Yeah, and it was easily destructible.
It came from yourwestvalley.com, which is funny. It says investigation and sworn testimony reveals no deaths, no secret list at the Phoenix VA. And it's coming from someone from the far left side, you know, and it's I'm not surprised that this individual is saying anything, but at the same time, it doesn't surprise me. You know, people have been coming out, and you know, some of the responses of it have been, you know, the media is always looking for a good story, and you know, this, that, and the other thing. Well, I look at it like this. You know, I'm being a media business owner. I'm not a fan of mainstream media, and I don't consider us by any means mainstream media at all. I'm talking about, like, you know, Fox, CNN, you know, CBS, the companies like that, and they go out and they don't always get the full story before they start shooting off at stuff, and you know, it is entertaining, but you know, I look at this and it surprises me, but it doesn't surprise me. The VA has been jacked up for years, and it's something that needs to get fixed. And now that, you know, with this recent story that just popped up within the last, you know, hour and a half, 2 hours, and that's not mainstream, that's a local paper, I'd be surprised to see, or I'd like to see if that ends up hitting the mainstream media, to see if you know, the VA responds to, you know, I know which one you're talking about with Anderson Cooper. I watched that one the other night myself, and it's you know, when this story popped off a couple of weeks ago, James had kind of put a rally together. Within less than 24 hours, we were down at the park. There's a park next to the VA hospital here in Phoenix, and I had a couple of the mainstream media crews come out and interview James that day.
Yeah, I read a quote that he said probably wasn't going to make the news. So.
And it did.
Oh, it did? Nice.
Oh yeah. And I believe it went something like, don't quote me on it, but I'll paraphrase it. It was something along the lines of, you know, the VA is like an ex-girlfriend that just pops back in to screw you over, then leaves again. You know. So it was something along that line. But when you think about this issue, Joe, with the VA and you being a veteran yourself, the VA is supposed to be there to help us, and you know, some people are, you know, they help and this and that. Not all of them do, and this one here in Phoenix, to my understanding, is one of the worst ones, if not the worst one, in the nation right now.
Yeah, I've heard stories about that VA through people through social media, even prior to this story. And I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and there's two things I brought up just for it happening in Arizona. One, you have hands down, you know, arguably the most well-known veteran in America is your senator, you know, in Arizona, and two,
he's not my. I didn't vote for him, just for the record. So
listen, man.
He's the state senator. He's not my senator.
He's your senator. But yeah, and the other thing is that Arizona and the person I was talking to brought up a good point of Arizona has a very large veteran population. It's a retirement state, you know, much like you know, like Florida or you know, or Texas when it comes to veterans. So there's a lot of veterans in Arizona, and that's one of the things. It's not like Arizona is this, if we're going to just tag political sides to this story, an ultra-liberal, you know, anti, you know, war, anti-military type state, like maybe somewhere in New England, Vermont, you pricks. But, you know, like Arizona is perceived as being a fairly conservative state and a fairly, you know, older conservative veteran state, and you would think a place like that, of all places, you know, would have one of the top VAs, you know, VA systems in the country.
One would think that would be the case. You know, unfortunately, as far as the VA system and how it helps the veterans here, and you're right, Joe. I want to go back a moment. You said the VA is, or the, excuse me, that Arizona is one of the largest VA states in the United States. It's in the top 5, and I believe, and again, this was just a rough estimate number, but there's roughly over 650,000, probably closer to 700,000 veterans in Arizona.
Oh wow.
Right, and you're right. It is a retirement state. I mean, you come here. I mean, what's it got? You got great weather year round. You know, you got 9 months out of the year. It's nice weather. You know, that other couple months, it's you know, hell. But you know, you get through it. But the system down here is absolutely horrendous. And I started going to the VA years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I got tired of wrist raft, and I gave up on it. And it was a couple of years later where it was it took a Vietnam vet to physically drag me down there and get things going. And it was a 2-year process before I got my rating. When I got my rating, it came back, and the injuries that I had while in the line of duty, they denied me. But I got, you know, this and a couple other things, and I was like, oh, you know, I guess it's a start. I knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people I've talked to, when they do the rating stuff, they say, hey, they give you a low rating. They try to get it to where, you know, either you get this, and then maybe you'll just be happy with it and you'll go away. You know, and it's not the way the system is. Is it a corrupt system? Yes. Where does it start with? It starts from the top. Is everybody at the VA bad? No. There's a lot of people that work within those walls that are, you know, that are caring for the veterans and whatnot. But it's how the system is set up, and it's the policies, and you know, you hear about people taking bonuses or getting bonuses for prolonging stuff and the secret list and, you know, this, that, and the other. Stuff like that should never come out to begin with.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that, you know, the thing that irks me the most is the fact that the guy that's in charge of the VA, it wasn't like he was just a bureaucratic, you know, suit that got the position. You know, it was a very highly decorated 4-star general that retired and holds that position. And I remember when he first took over, I thought, wow, you know, awesome. You got a guy that is one of us, is going to be in charge of us and helping us out. And unfortunately, I think it's time for him to retire.
You know, I think what happens a lot of the time in these situations, Joe, is that there's a lot of politics that get played, and you know, one could sit here and say, oh, this guy's against politics and he's against our government, blah blah blah. Listen, I worked for the government for nine long years, probably the 9 longest years of my life, and
I'm still doing it. I know how
yeah,
to feel.
and you know, and the guys that are still in uniform, and James, you know, my buddy Jason, who just got into town, he's been doing it for a while, and it's. I used to envy you guys, like, man, I'd be pushing 3-4 years left, and I'd have a retirement, and this, that, and the other thing. And now, I can't even fathom what you guys would think. Like, if you wake up tomorrow morning and say, hey, we don't need you anymore, we're booting you out. And it's like, I don't envy our military.
Yeah,
right
and
now,
that's why I'm getting out. I mean, I got a few months left of you know, time left. I mean, I'll have 14 years the day I get out, but I'm going to go back into the reserves.
Yeah.
I've been active for the last over 9 years. It's been over 9 years. This last stretch has been over a 9-year stretch, and I'm walking away from it. It's just like for a couple of reasons. For one, I'm still physically fit and mentally fit enough to where I could go to college, you know, and well, you know, I want to go to college and build off of what we do here, and so I'm like, I'm young enough to do that. I'll be 35 on Saturday. But
well, happy early birthday, you old bastard.
yeah, I just 35. You know, right now I'm closer to 0 than I am 70. Sunday,
Yeah.
that's the opposite. I'm gonna be closer to 70 than 0. So, but it's like people are like, oh, you only got a few more years to go. It's like, yeah, I know. Then what? And then I'll be 45, or 42, 41, whatever the case may be, and getting out. And what's appealing to the marketplace right now? Somebody who's kind of not broken and in his mid 30s, or somebody who's completely broken and in their mid 40s. It's like,
right.
It pains me to walk away. I just got offered a position to be an instructor at an NCO academy, and a few years ago I would have jumped at the opportunity. Actually, a few years ago I was begging to get into that position, and I was getting beat out by people that had just basically seniority over me. The whole rank and time and service thing, and now it's like, no, come on, you want to go to New Jersey? You could be an instructor for 3 years, and I know the instructors at the schoolhouse, and those guys are awesome, and I would have a great tour and get my 7, on the drop of a dime. But it's like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to walk.
It kind of loses its luster.
Oh yeah, it's people look at me like, oh, thank you for your service. It's like, oh God, it's like, oh, you're welcome. That tongue in cheek, and then it's like, I'm thinking like, if you only knew how miserable I was right now. That, and I love being in the service, and I love the perks that I've had to go along with it, like being able to be part of Vets on Media, because if it wasn't for the service, I'd just be on media, and that would suck. And I've got to travel the world and kill bad guys, and save the day, and be in parades, and be looked up to by little kids, and be thanked by World War II vets. I like all that stuff. I've been able to teach and nurture, younger soldiers for the last bunch of years, since I've been responsible enough the last 8 years to nurture people. I love that, but it's like I'm just defeated. And that's the thing I have to look forward to now. Come August, it's like I have to go to the VA. I haven't had to do that. The last time I went to the VA, I became an addict in 2004. My fault, not the VA's fault, but my fault, because of things I did with the pills that they gave me. But hindsight is 2020. I look back and it's like, you know what? They could have treated me a little bit differently than just giving me a bag of pills and shooing me out the door.
Yeah.
And now I'm really apprehensive about the future and certain medical conditions I have, because it's like I have to look forward to the VA. Luckily, Buffalo has a strong VA.
That's not a good that's not a good feeling. When you're uncertain, especially when you get a lot of there's a lot of bad press going on about the VA right now. It's very disheartening, and I don't know, man. All I can say is I hope that I'd like to see people get their shit together and get this stuff turned around. But it's going to start it's got to start in Washington. That's where it's got to start. The politics and stuff like that these assholes that are in Congress need to remember, who's the one that's fighting for them and who has fought for them. To keep their house on the hill and all this other stuff. Half those guys, and like you said, you brought it up. We got one of the the state of Arizona has a veteran. The senator here is a World War II who was a POW, and one would think that he would be the first person to take care of the veterans, and that just hasn't been the case. In my opinion, there's too much money that goes involved, and people are worried about their paychecks and their organizations that are sponsoring their campaigns so they could have a job and basically break the rules at their own. It's a club. That's what it is. It's a club.
And what do you think, in your opinion, being a veteran and being a patient of the VA, at a grassroots level. The big level is Washington's got to get their head out of their ass. And I think if we're going to have all these troops coming back from Afghanistan and basically shutting the door there, pretty fairly soon, for one, that's a lot of veterans, coming back with more ailments and injuries and disabilities. So gonna flood the system more. But the thing is, there's a lot of money going to be coming back too.
It's not just the ones that are coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan right now. It's the 40,000 troop drawdown that the Army's planning on doing.
Yep.
I can tell you right now, they're not ready for it. They're not ready for why the government is making such a piss poor decision, especially what's going on over in Europe, the European theater right now. It blows my mind. I've said this now for the last 2 years that Vets on Media has been in business. I said the people in D.C. right now that are running this country are turning us into a third world country. I have said it for the last 2 years, and more people are starting to agree with me. And it's a damn shame. And when I see third world country, to all you listeners out there, I'm not saying it to the extent of what we know what third world countries are like, in like the Middle East, Africa, and some of those unfortunate countries that are less fortunate than us. But we're on that path. Do I think it'll ever get to that extent? No, I don't think it'll ever get to that extent here. But I don't never say never either. Because we're on that path. Look what we've done in the last 20 years. Look what we've done in the last 8 years. It's been going. We're on a downhill trend, and you're taking away our military. You're not taking care of our veterans. Joe, let me ask you something. You volunteered for the military, yes?
Oh yeah.
Okay, and you had to sign a contract, yes?
A couple of them. Yep.
And then that part of that contract states that you will be taken care of even after you get out if you suffer some type of injury of some sort, yes?
Yep.
That's in the fine print, and a lot of people don't fail to realize that that's actually in the print. So with that said, one could argue that when we're not getting taken care of, that it's a breach of contract.
Oh yeah, yeah. Try going to court for that one.
Yeah, and that'll never happen.
Yeah,
it'll never stick.
It would literally take a politician of your senator's stature, with 1 million people behind them marching on Washington. Kind of like Martin Luther King and the rally in Washington over civil rights. It would literally take a mountain of veterans and a strong leader, in front of them, basically taking over, the mall.
I think it would take Team Jesus and Team Moses to bring. You like how I did that one in there? I think because that's what it's going to boil down to. That's what it boiled down to, and I hate to say it, it's gut wrenching to say that.
Yeah.
Because I can't, you got veterans that are committing suicide daily. You have, and that doesn't have to happen. You got guys that are not being taken care of that should be taken care of. That should never ever happen. That should happen. It just should. I heard another story here just recently. Allegedly, there's several families of some of the recent deaths that have happened are suing the VA.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with my son's martial arts instructor the other night. He's a vet, and he was saying he knew one of the guys that passed away recently, and he didn't get help to the VA, and he had, I forget what it was, but he had like numbness in his hands and stuff, and he kept saying to the VA, hey, something's wrong with me, I keep getting numb. And while he was driving home, and he went to grab the wheel, and he couldn't turn the wheel, and he hit a car head on and killed him.
Mm.
It's and I'm sure there's more to it than just that, but you get into an accident that's caused by something that could have been prevented by getting medical treatment, but you were denied the medical treatment and you kept getting the runaround for it. It's just, when is enough enough?
Yeah.
I think it's time for all veterans across the country to unite together. It's time for us to take this country back. It's time for us to make a stand.
Yeah, and I've heard people that aren't in the, that have never been in the service say, like, well, you know what, I think, you look at it because they go, we have too many people in the country, there's too many veterans in the system. And I give an example of, you look at a country like Canada or Israel or South Korea, they take care of their vets, especially like Israel and South Korea, where service is mandatory. They take care of their vets, and I had a discussion with somebody recently, and they go, well, their population is lower. Well, also their income is lower. We're a bigger country. We have more veterans, but we have a lot more money, and we have a whole lot of resources, more resources than some of these other countries. I mean, if we wanted to do it, we could do it. I say that on behalf of the government, since I am the government. And I drove a GSA today, so I drove a GSA.
I think you're right. The problem is that it comes down to a money issue. Whose dick's bigger, who's got the more, the most bankroll.
I think it's a voter thing too. I just think, like anything else that the government can string people along for and get them to choose a side. If one side looks stronger than the other, like, we're going to help you with issue A. They don't really want to help with issue A, because if you get rid of the issue, then people have free will to vote for whoever they want again. I mean, it goes with whatever the case may be. Marriage equality, abortion issues, smoking pot, I mean, right to bear arms. I mean, all these issues, the government strings you along. If it was set in stone, like, this is what's going to happen, we're going to take care of this, we're going to change this, so everybody named Tom can get a brick of gold on Tuesday. If they keep saying, well, in a year, all the Toms are still going to keep voting for those people, that politician. And then, if you give Tom that bar of gold, he's like, okay, maybe I don't like you anymore. So I think it's a voter issue.
You said it just a minute ago. You said it, free will.
Yep.
The free will. And the problem is nobody wants it anymore.
No.
You have free will to vote. People, it's simple. Do your homework. You're listening to Joe's show right now. Don't believe what Adam Bird's saying. Go out and do the homework yourself. You don't have to agree with me. In fact, prove me wrong. In fact, I encourage it. I know James, if he's listening, he'd tell you the same thing. A lot of the voters are partly to blame for all of this, because we're the ones that put these clowns in office.
Not me. I don't vote.
But and you're right. And you're right.
I gave up. I gave up on it. The last person I voted for was your senator.
I'm going to play devil's advocate real quick here, Joe, because I said a lot of the voters are the ones to blame for this, but I'm starting to think that even that's being taken away from us.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it goes back to beating a dead a dead drum right here. Beating a dead horse. A dead drum? Did I just say that? You jackass. Okay, you can cancel me anytime you want after that.
Yeah, I'll handle the HR issue in the morning.
Tactical 16 Radio is not moving to Sunday morning at 2 a.m. But you look at the structure that we have in government. The two-party system just doesn't fly anymore. It just does not fly. Hell, I would take, keep the Democrats and the Republicans. That's fine. I'll take a progressive party, a libertarian party. Shit, I'll take the Whigs. Let's get 1820s in here again. I'll take the federal Democrats, whatever. I just think two parties is too broad of a spectrum for all these little subgroups to fall within each party. I really think there needs to be, like, you look at some of these countries and people shake their heads and don't understand politics of Europe or certain countries in Asia. Like, why do they have 16 political parties? Well, because they're very specific and they make coalitions, and I think that's what we need. I think I think somebody should sue the government for being a monopoly. I really do. You know, they sued and broke up AT&T and Standard Oil. You know, why can't we do that? I think the two-party system is horrible. Split up the Republicans and see which group of the Republicans are really pro-veterans and see which ones are just pro-business. Split up the Democrats. See who's really for, you know, freedom of speech and see who's for, you know, big government.
You know, it's easy to find out what they're for. Just have them wear a NASCAR suit.
yeah.
You know, and I'm going to pick the one. I want you all to line up, and I want to go through your badge. Let me see your suit, and I want to see how many of you have veteran organizations on your suit. And if none of them do, none of them get in.
I like that. And the thing is, and I think since before we move on to another topic I want to talk to you about, and I'll give you the last word on this, I don't think you have to be a politician who's pro-veteran. I don't really know of too many politicians that are anti-veteran, like outwardly anti-veteran. Maybe a couple, maybe one in Vermont, one in New Hampshire, maybe one in California. You're going to have a few. That's fine. I don't want everybody to walk up to me and shake my hand and say thank you for your service. I don't want you to stand in front of my way of walking into a door if I'm in uniform. You know, you don't have to like me. You don't have to love me. Just don't be a pain in my ass. And I think some politicians are just a pain in the ass, just not to spite veterans, but to spite that other politician across the aisle. Like,
and that's it's like you said, it's out of despite. And I said it earlier. It's who can keep their job.
Yep. And that's
what it boils down to.
And there should be term limits. There should be term limits, and I don't want to turn this into a political talk. There should be limits on every office within government, whether you're an assistant to an assistant of the director of the VA, or you're a senator, or a Supreme Court justice.
I've said it before. I think there needs to be, you get one term, whether it be 2 years, 4 years, or whatever. You have 4 years. Those 4 years, and then you go out and you get a real job. You get a real job just like every other American out there. You have to go out there and get a real job. You cannot be a career politician.
Yeah, I think they should have regular jobs anyway. I don't think you have to be in Washington every damn day. I mean, look, the government functioned.
They're not. They're not.
The government functioned 220 years ago, and they had to use horses to get from frickin' Georgia to Washington, D.C., or get from Maine to Washington, D.C. They didn't spend all day in the damn Capitol. They didn't have any damn cars or light rail system. I mean, these dudes had normal jobs, had to take care of farms. Sometimes they had real cheap labor to do that. But the point was, our founding fathers weren't in Washington, D.C. every day. Now, whether they were back at their office in their home state, that's a different story. Meet once a month, like maybe four or 5 days out of the month. I think that's all they really need to do. Trust me, I'll talk for 4 damn days about a lot of different topics, and then go back to my normal job. I mean, this whole.
I agree. I agree with you.
I just want to slap an old dude.
Salaries that they have that last a lifetime for them, and they get excluded from certain laws, don't have to abide by them. That's all crap. And there was once a saying that all man was created equal, and I think it's time that we go back to that.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of all man created equal, we had a big topic come up this week, which kind of plays a little bit on my guest that I hopefully I'll have in about 15 minutes. The topic of race, and Don Sterling is a glaring example of, again, what's wrong with this country, because people can't even agree on if Don Sterling was right, wrong, justified, or screwed over, or whatever, if the punishment fit, because it's like you got this old rich guy who's obviously a racist and who's settled legal disputes before, having to deal with race and tenants in real estate. I think he's one of the largest real estate owners in Los Angeles, and he's been sued quite a few times for his business practices towards minorities. So you got a guy who's a known racist who is a billionaire. It comes out as a shock that an old 80-something-year-old billionaire doesn't like people of different colors. Like, there's a big shock there, you know.
Yeah.
But the shock is he was bitching to his girlfriend who was black and Mexican. And oh, by the way, he's a basketball owner. I mean, you want to get old school. I mean, this guy exemplifies the old. When I mean old school, I'm talking to like the 1840s attitude. And I just don't like him because Buffalo used to have the Clippers. They were called the Buffalo Braves, and I want my damn team back. So fuck that guy. But the big question is the big debate is in some circles was he were his civil liberties trounced over because it was a private conversation, and I think California is a two-party state where both parties have to agree to a recording and the release of the recording.
You're absolutely correct with that. In previous jobs that I've had where I've done marketing and sales in California, I had to let the person on the other line know if they were in California that all calls are recorded for training purposes.
Yep.
So that was, what I look at it like this. There's a lot of ways, Joe, that you can look at this. Was he a racist? Clearly. Just based off of the comments that we heard on that recording.
Yeah.
Was his civil liberties, violated? That's going to be an argument, and do I see a lawsuit coming out of this? I sure do,
And I think that's the thing. There already is a lawsuit. This is a soap opera. Don Sterling's wife and family are suing his mistress for $108 million. It's not just coincidental that these tapes were leaked or, brought to TMZ.
Oh, no. But here's the problem. The guy dug his own grave.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's how you solve this whole thing. This is how and for everybody that's listening, for future basketball owners, NBA owners, don't have a mistress. Period.
Yeah. Don't be like your players.
Yeah. Don't. It was funny. I don't know. Today in our WTF news, the last one that we did was the Bunny Ranch up in Vegas.
Yep.
Has banned him from life.
Really?
What does that tell you?
Oh, man.
And he can't either confirm or deny that he's ever been there. Well, okay, so you've been there,
Uh-huh.
As of, but here's the thing.
I went there with my DD-214.
Yeah, here's what gets me about this whole race thing. Do I crack racial jokes? I have, but, I have some very, very close friends to me that are not of the same ethnicity as myself, and I consider them like family. And we joke around and stuff like that. It doesn't make it right. Yeah, whatever you're in your circle with, And you brought it up off air, per a conversation that you and I had. What about the black on black crime and the murder that happened last week? How come you don't hear about that? You don't hear about it because you don't have a guy that's worth $2.2 billion that owns an NBA team that's doing fairly well, talking about different races, who just happens to have a girlfriend of a different race who's giving her, he's bought her cars, he's bought her, he's taking good care of her, and he paid her to record these conversations because he suffered from short-term memory loss.
See, and that's another thing. Like, and that's the thing. I don't know if he didn't give consent to these recordings, she's screwed. But two, here's his defense, and I think this is where I think he should lose ownership of the team. I really do. I don't think.
Really?
I do. I do just because I don't like racist people like that. I don't mind the guy's privacy, but I think it's too damaging for the league. I also made an argument yesterday that the league kind of didn't care that Jay-Z was a partial owner of a team, and he's got lyrics in a few songs calling people crackers and anti-Semitic remarks.
And why do you think that is?
Because I think here's the thing.
Because you have a minority owner.
Yeah, and it's a marketing ploy. I mean, it was a marketing strategy. What's beneficial for the NBA? An old Jewish guy or a young black hip-hop artist? I'd say young black hip-hop artist all day long because it goes over.
But you got to, you know what, Joe? You got to play both sides here, though.
And that's the thing. And I think if
you're gonna hold him responsible, then you have to go back, and if Jay-Z as you got to hold him responsible for his lyrics.
And that's the thing. And the league didn't. Where I think the league, Jay-Z's no longer a part owner anymore, so that's not a relevant argument anymore. But I tell you what, there's I think just as a player, like he's going to do nothing but damage the team. That's why I think he should get rid of the team. Just for the fans, for the team, for the players, for the coaches, the people that pour money into that team.
Let's face it, the guy's worth $2.2 billion. Yeah. He sells the team. It's not like he's going to be hurt.
No, pretty soon he's going to be worth $2.8 billion. But I think. The other aspect, I look at it, he's going to have a huge lawsuit on his hands because if he had to be recorded because of memory loss, well, guess what? That shows mental disability. And I'm not his lawyer. I'm not condoning anything he said.
I don't think we're going to see the end of this for a while.
No, I think
Mark
ultimately.
Cuban came out and made a comment that he was satisfied, and I was actually surprised with all the people that had kind of come out. So it kind of, with everybody speaking up against him, kind of made me wonder, like, man, this guy must be a dick off the books. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
He does something because Mark Cuban's a pretty square away guy. I mean, he's a guy that I look up to from a business standpoint side of things.
Definitely.
And it's not often that you hear him talk negative about anybody, really.
Yeah.
So for Mark Cuban to kind of come up and make the comments that he did about him, and then he turned around and supported the commissioner. But ultimately now what's going to happen is that his fate lies in the 29 other NBA owners.
Yeah, I think they're going to force him to sell a team, and I think fine. He's going to go away. He's 80-something years old.
Okay, now let me ask you this: Can they force him to sell the team? Is that a give, or is that gonna is there some type of law that states we're forcing you to sell the team? I mean, they could just by making it difficult for him and maybe to lock out or suspend the team from playing.
I think with the ban, I think the example that they might be using is the Marge Scott example. Marge Scott, the former owner of the Cincinnati Reds, who came out with a bunch of anti-Semitic remarks back in like the late 80s, and she was forced to sell a team. I think there are clauses, and I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. My cousin would actually be pretty good for this segment right now. I think if you are detrimental to the league, I think they can force you out as an owner. But the whole thing is, okay, he's a scumbag, he's an asshole, but where is the? I think here's the thing: put a recorder around every NBA player, coach, and owner, and you're gonna have lifetime bans for about, I'd say, about 90%. There was a coach that was fired, I think, from Golden State, an assistant coach who was caught recording the locker room, recording players, and they fired him. His tapes were never released. I could just imagine what's on those tapes.
Well, I mean, you know why, and I'm glad you brought that up. You know why those tapes were never released? Because he was blackballed.
Yeah.
And I use that term blackball because he was blackmailed.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, here, we'll pay you this if you turn it on, and they settle it quietly because last night, one of the news channels, I forget who it was, said, listen, we gave him several times the opportunity to come out and face the music or come out and defend himself on this, and he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. And what that told, I took that like, look, and the guy made the mistake of saying we gave him several opportunities to come out to make sure that this didn't come out. meaning they had this, they were trying to get some money from him in order for them not to publish or go public with it.
Yeah, and before we go, a couple minutes left with you, Adam, because I think my guest is going to call up in about 5 minutes, my other guest. The funny thing, well, the ironic thing, just typical business where these special interest groups that try to help others, I think, are full of crap, is the fact that this guy's settled a few lawsuits over race issues, and basically he's a known bigot, within the NBA circles. The NAACP was supposed to give him like a lifetime achievement award for for being a nice guy for minorities and giving a lot of money to the NAACP. So basically, you have the NAACP, the National Association for Advancement of Colored People, I think it's called.
Yep.
Turning a blind eye to a known racist legal practices when it comes to housing. By saying, oh, you gave us millions of dollars, we're going to give you a lifetime achievement award. Now they backed off this week, like, oh, we're not going to give them the award, and we're going to give the money back. That just shows right there that any special interest group can be bought off, whether it's the NAACP or whoever the case may be, and that just shows how disgusting. And I'm not going to say the NAACP, I believe, has done a lot of work for a lot of people, but in this instance, how are you going to give somebody a lifetime achievement award who settled for millions of dollars 5 years ago? Like, an 80-something-year-old man doesn't change anything within 5 years. He's already set in stone on who he is and what he does. And it's like, that just shows the hypocrisy.
And when you got 2.2 billion, when you're worth $2.2 billion, who cares about, a $5 million fine or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, he
probably paid the fine in cash.
Yeah, it's real easy to go home and like, I wish I had that plaque on the way. Oh wait, look, my bank account has 10 digits in there. Okay. Oh, that's not including the cents.
yeah.
If you throw a quarter in there, it's
the comments.
Yeah, if you throw a quarter in there, it's 12 digits. Bitches, I win. And it's just like it just the hypocrisy, and that's the thing. It's like, I tell you what, a player, if this happens to be an issue with a player now, they better give him a lifetime ban, because if you're gonna do it to one of the top dogs in the league, deservingly so, I think you should do it to a backup point guard, in a heartbeat, or any other sports like the penalties now. If you say a racial slur on the football field, it's a 15-yard penalty. I think is fine, because if I have my kid on the 50-yard line and you could hear, some language, and I understand, I've played sports. You say pretty much whenever you want in the heat of battle, and it basically is like a battle sometimes when you play sports. But you know what? I don't want to hear the N-word shouted 50,000 times, or somebody called a gay slur when I got my kid on the sideline, or within earshot. And it's like, how could I'm looking at life differently.
And when you say you don't want to hear the N-word, I don't want to hear it from anybody.
No, I
don't care what race you are, I don't want to hear it.
I think the only way you should be able to say it is on a comedy stage, because I think there are some funny jokes with the N-word in it. And they're not racist. Yeah. I'm not talking about Michael Richards from Seinfeld. His N-word on comedy stage went over.
That's a little different.
Yeah, very bad. I think articulately, you could say anything on stage, and that's one thing. It's like
when Kevin Hart says it, it's funny.
Yeah, when Kevin Hart or Patrice O'Neal or even a white comic, if it's done the right way, I'll laugh at pretty much anything. I've laughed at some pretty disgusting things. And I've also been on stage. I'm telling some I think my best joke ever is bashing paraplegics. So I think
you're breaking up there, Joe.
I had to tell you. You know what? Adam endorsed that last comment. But I'm just saying, as an artist, I think it comes to that. And then also look at Huck Finn. N-word Jim. They changed his name in the book. That's a book that was a timepiece of slavery, and they took the N-word out of it. It's like that. I think is a little ridiculous. Now, if somebody comes out with a book and N-word Jim is a character, just because, I think that's kind of stupid. But try to erase certain things historically, I think is a bit ridiculous. But we live in a crazy world, man.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So it's fun though. It's fun. You know, anytime we get topics like this, it's like, whew, thank God, Don Sterling. Thank you, Sterling, because I didn't have to think at all for this show.
Thank you for being a moron. Please send me the check to Vets on Media.
I love stories like this because I tell you what, it makes my show so much better because I don't have to think. I could just say. I mean, I don't have to think. A slow news week is like, oh my God, and if I have a boring guest, it's like, oh man, this is gonna be an awful show. And trust me, you can't always hit a home run. Sometimes you strike out. And I know exactly when I'm striking out during a show, and it's just like, oh.
Hey, sometimes you don't even make it to the ballpark.
I know. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
30 minutes in, it's like, I want to end this now, but I spent so much time promoting it. You know, I'd hate for my friends to laugh at me. But I tell you what, shows like this, weeks like this, it's like, thank you, racist billionaire. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, broken healthcare system. Thank you so much. I could sound funny and articulate and intelligent all in the same show.
Right. Right. Well, good stuff, brother.
Yeah, man.
Well, keep up the good work, man. I know you got another guest here getting ready to come on.
Yeah, and just for all my fans, why don't you tell my fans how they can become your fans?
I tell you what, folks, make sure you check out all the shows on the Vets on Media Network by going to www.vetsonmedia.com. And if you want a good laugh on a Wednesday morning when you're at work because your boss is riding your ass, tune in to Vets On with Adam and James. And you can find us at www.vetsonmedia.com.
Yep, and if you're watching the show right now, you can see the website is right behind me, and I'm pointing at it. So I'll make sure that's always within eyesight. So.
Oh, good stuff. Well, hey, bro, thanks again for having me on tonight. Keep up the great work. And thanks to everybody else, all the supporters of Joe's show. You know, it's going to be a big year for him. We got a lot of good stuff brewing, so, you know, keep it up, man.
All right, thanks, man. I'll talk to you later. Oh, big hug for the Radio Daddy. There you go, Radio Daddy. My hug went on deaf ears from my Radio Daddy. I gave him a Radio Daddy hug, and he hung up on me. What a jerk. I tell you what. But in all seriousness, I think, does that guy have a right to be an old racist? Yeah. Yeah, he has a right. He also has a right to be publicly scorned and humiliated and blackballed from his group, you know, or from his place of business, or whatever the case may be. Because I tell you, if I said stuff like that, the Army would kick me out. So if my bosses would do that to me, then I don't see why it shouldn't be done to anybody else. And you know, like I said, being in the military, I got to conduct myself a certain way. I don't always do that. Trust me, I'm the farthest thing from PC in a uniform, and that's probably why I'm still an E6, and all my buddies are E7s and E8s and O3s, and I got one buddy that's a O4, and you know, that might be a reason why. I'm still waiting for my damn PCS award for my last unit. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. It's only been over a year ago. Oh, don't worry, it's somebody's desk. I get it, but you know, the point is, if I can be punished for it, I think anybody else can. That's not an artist. Now, I think if you host a radio show, you should be able to say certain things. You should be able to say almost anything in the correct context of the conversation and of the dialogue. And the subject. The same goes for, I think, music. People say, oh, you know, they say, black people say the N-word all the time in rap music. Well, yeah, so? What does it bother? Who's it bother? Does it bother you? Doesn't bother me. You know, Jay-Z called people crackers in a couple of his songs. Does it bother me? No, because I think it's stupid. I mean, if he wants to be endorsed by Ritz, I mean, I'd be a little bit nicer with their product, but you know, I don't care. You know, people can. I'm gonna raise the mic up a little bit. People can be who they want to be, but there's a price that comes along with it. Now, what I can't stand when you have issues like this, and rightfully so, this is an issue. When you have the PC police, when you have the guy that kind of looks like a girl, but you know is a guy, but kind of sounds like a girl with girly guyish glasses and a feathered hairdo, on the news, saying, "Oh, you know that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong." You know, it's just like, what is that thing? That's the ultimate guy, gay, straight, girl. I don't know. It's just like the puddle of, you know, the middle. You know, that's directly up and down the middle. Appeases to everybody so that middle thing doesn't get slapped. Because you don't know if it's a guy or if it's a girl, if it's straight or gay or Jewish or Christian or Republican or Democrat, probably Democrat. But these talking heads, these PC hound dog police that would never say anything to somebody's face for fear of getting slapped if they sound stupid. But when those people get on TV and they're not tough guys, they're not badasses, they're not sure of themselves, they just know they are safe. And they could go and they could attack people and they could demand people's jobs and demand people's heads and demand this and demand that. You know, they're safe because they're behind a camera with like-minded individuals surrounding them. I like to take some of these talking heads, some of these pundits from these big box news agencies, and set them outside, and then just have them start talking and see how long it takes for somebody to get in their face. Whether that person agrees with me or disagrees with me, beyond it's beyond what I'm talking about right now. What I'm talking about is you will see people on TV act real if they had somebody angry in their face. They would kind of back up, because you take an angry dude or an angry chick and you give them the ability to slap the hell out of someone that pisses them off, they're going to do it. You see those people on TV. Yeah, I want to slap the hell out of them. Give them the opportunity, I might just slap one of them. It's that guy Hayes on MSNBC, the little guy girl, the little pudgy guy girl, looks like Rachel Maddow's meat puppet. I slapped the hell out of that dude because he pisses me off. He annoys me because he has never been something Hayes or Haynes. He's got a show on MSNBC at night. I want to slap that dude. And I don't disagree with everything he says, but the way he says it, he's so smug and he knows he's so safe. It's like, dude, why don't you come here, sit next to Silent J, and we'll host the show. And if you start getting off the rails with your stupid talk, I'll slap the hell out of you. I will. I'll knock the damn glasses off your face. And I'm wearing glasses, but you know what? You ain't going to smack these off my face. And that's the thing. When I talk, I will back this up. If I'm at a party, which I don't go to parties anymore, but if I'm at a party or if I'm at somebody's house, I will not back down from what I'm saying. I will say what I say on the air, and I will say what I say in front of people. Sometimes people don't like it. Sometimes people get pissed off by it. I don't care. What are you going to do? Hit me? Ooh, I'm over it. You see the size of my nose? Indestructible. All right? And I can't stand just people that hide behind a screen. You know, people that hide behind a keyboard, people that hide behind a monitor, people that hide behind a stage, not a stage, a teleprompter. You know, those pundits that just hide, with TV cameras and keyboards. It's like, why don't you really say something? Why don't you go in front of people and actually say stuff? You know, go after. I'd like to see somebody go. If Don Sterling was a 45-year-old strong dude, people wouldn't be saying that sort of thing. But he's a soft target. You know, he's an easy target. You know, I think he's an asshole, but he's an easy target. Why don't you go after somebody that will fight back, that will come back at you? Like, hell, look at I forgot the female comedian, Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers said something about something to do with her reality TV show or something. I guess she lives with their daughter or somebody, co-host of the show. I don't know. I don't even watch the show. I don't even know what it's called. Excuse me. And she said her living space is smaller than the girls that were kidnapped in Cleveland. And there was a big outcry about that, saying, demand an apology, demand this, demand a firing, or whatever the case may be. And she came right back and said another line, like, why are they going to complain? They lived for 10 years free of rent. Joan Rivers is not a soft target. See, Joan Rivers will fight back. Joan Rivers will talk smack. Joan Rivers will back up what she says. She's a comedian. She's a damn good comedian. Now, whether I agree or disagree with what she's saying there's no reason for it. Emma Stone. And the thing, what I was saying before I saw something, nobody's going after Joan Rivers anymore. Oh, she said something on the Today Show. That's what it was. Nobody's going after anymore because you know what? It was a comedian telling a joke, and you have certain people that will circle around a carcass that would not circle around, a tough, individual. Like vultures eat carcasses. Vultures won't pick the eyes out of a freaking lion, And I hate to use a bunch of stupid puns and analogies and analogies and shit like that. But the point I'm trying to make is, Don Sterling's easy. He's an easy target. Now, are there players out there that say stuff, that say racist comments? You probably could imagine that, but you know what? A player is going to smack the hell out of you. I just think the press just annoys me. That's what it comes down to. The press just it pisses me off. Hold on. I thought my computer was going to freeze up for a second. I was doing some weird, stupid thing. I don't know what the hell that message was, but I don't believe my other guest is going to be calling up, which was sad because, oh well, it's no skin off my back. But if he doesn't show up, I'll end the show early. I'll end the show on a high note. But I'm anticipating him calling up, and which brings me into the Bundy Ranch situation. I don't know what's going on. I'm not one of these people that follows stories like this on the news. Maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe I should. Oh. Okay, I was looking for something. Okay, there we go. All right. I look at the Bundy Ranch situation is it's a whole lot of stories, a whole lot of things going on. People are just looking at the surface of it. Oh, it's a guy that doesn't want to pay the government, or it's the government, going after, again, a soft target. And people stood up on both sides. and you had militia types, you had the press, you had all these different groups, basically picking and choosing sides, and kind of showing a certain allegiance to the situation without knowing everything about it. Is this rancher right? Is Clive Bundy 100% right? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Is the government completely right or wrong? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. If left alone, does the government do some shady shit? Oh, you definitely better believe that they do. Just like I look at Senator Reid called a lot of these, whatever, militia members that stood up for Clive Bundy, called them a bunch of domestic terrorists. And then come to find out, his son, allegedly, this is all allegedly, I just heard this. I hate having to say that. Trust me, I really hate having to say that. I feel like a hypocrite because I get pissed off when I listen to shows and a host just does not back up what he says. I want to back up what I say, but I don't want to be sued. So I have to say, allegedly. Allegedly, Harry Reid's son is a lobbyist for a Chinese company that wants to build a solar energy field where this rancher grazes his cattle on I guess federal land. And when you hear something like that, it's like, oh, the government sounds shitty. But then you have an endangered species that the government's saying, hey, this guy's cows are a danger to an endangered species, the desert tortoise, which I've had run-ins with those desert tortoise, the desert tortoises, whatever you want to call it. You want to be proper or not proper, whatever. That's cool. But you look at like, this guy's an ass, Cows are trampling over turtles that, I don't know. Maybe there's 10 tortoise. Tortoise is different. Maybe this rancher's cattle run over the last 10 desert tortoise, and then the species is gone. And it's like, maybe the government was right. Oh, wait, solar energy for a Chinese company. Maybe they're wrong. Wait a second. This guy doesn't want to pay his taxes. Maybe he's wrong. Oh, wait, he won in court? Maybe he's right. So I don't know. But somewhere along the way, film, it didn't allegedly surface. It surfaced because I saw it. I saw and heard snippets of it. Put Clive Bundy in less than appealing light in this sensitive, racial, climatized world that we live in. By saying, I think he was making an analogy towards people being slaves to the government, and he was using slavery as an example by saying, I look at his words were the Negro in northern Vegas, when he goes through northern Vegas, and they just sit on their porches and they don't do anything, and they send their men to prison, and their women abort their babies, and all this stuff, which arguably he's right and wrong to say something like that. I think if you look at the prison population, he's completely right that a majority of the prison population is black men. Then you got to look at the underlying issue to that, and that's a whole nother story. Maybe that's why pot should be legal, allegedly, according to Silent J. But then you look at, like, if he was just trying to tie that in to another point he was making, and he was saying, oh, I don't know anything about anything, something like that, or paraphrasing, but said that, maybe slavery wasn't such a bad thing. At least they had, instead of having all that free time sitting on the porch, slaves are busy, and they could be with family and grow turnips and stuff like that. The guy equated slavery as a time killer. From what I saw, from what I gathered. Now you can edit the shit out of a clip. You could take sound bites. You can paraphrase a conversation. But when you equate filling time with slavery, you kind of, I think, at a point, lose a certain appeal to your you make you lose. I think you lose credibility. Let's put it that way. You know, I mean, just Clive Bundy. I agree with you. I think the government's jerking you over. I think the government's kind of screwing you over, and I think it's applaudable that people just stood up and helped defend a little guy against the big bad government. But then when that little guy comes out and basically equates slavery to, filling time and turnips, this is 2014. Who the hell makes a turnip reference? That's what I want to know. And I was supposed to have, whatever, his name that I know him as is Charlie Delta, is a former Marine, or allegedly. Let's just go with allegedly for everything. Allegedly is a former Marine who I believe heads Clive Bundy's security circle, security task force. Offers. I don't know if he's an employee or a volunteer. Well, Charlie Delta was supposed to be on, and Mr. Charlie Delta. I keep thinking Charlie Murphy when I hear Charlie Delta. I'm sorry. I love the Chappelle Show. All right. I just think it's like, when you got a guy saying comments like that, he could be a sweet, genuinely nice man, this Clive Bundy, but I've never met him, so I don't know. He could be a great guy. He could be a jerk. It's 2014. You wear a cowboy hat. I don't know. And you're not. I don't know. It's just, to me, I don't know. Maybe he's a cowboy though. He's got cows. He's a boy. Stands up when he pees. So he's a cowboy. So you could wear a cowboy hat. So I guess I was wrong for trying to bash him for wearing a cowboy hat in the year 2014 AD. But I wanted to ask him, like, as a black gentleman, how do you feel about working with this man or for this man or whatever the case may be? And what do the comments mean to you? Is it blown over? Please correct me, Mr. Charlie Delta, if I'm just getting the wrong sound bites. That's what I wanted to hear, but I don't know. He was supposed to be on 23 minutes ago. Blazian's on. Hi, my guest from a few weeks ago, which she was on a few weeks ago, and we talked some race issues. Check her show out. I think it's on Sin TV on YouTube. So check out Sin TV. My awesome, cool former guest too. The podcast version of our interview is going to be on iTunes and Podbean next week. I was a little bit behind on the podcasting stuff and the putting the shows together for the other websites that do stuff with us. But I put a show on last night with it had Anthony Farina, author of Angels in Solder City, and Michael Hawk, former Green Beret turned television star, who's on was on Man, Woman, Wild, Elite Tactical, shows like that. He's also on, I think, Lost Survivors now. So that show is up and running and available on iTunes. So go to iTunes, Tactical 16 Radio with Silent J, Tactical 16 Radio on iTunes, and subscribe, rate the show, review the show, and also on Podbean. And you can hear the latest downloadable version of the show, I guess you want to call it. So I'm going to take a quick pause for the cause, and I'll be back in 30 seconds, okay?
Why is my love so cold? No more will I pretend. Gasping for air.
All right, that's all I can give you. Just quick 29 seconds so I don't get sued. Yeah, that's the only sucky thing. Excuse me, folks. That's the only sucky thing about not having a co-host. Man, I gotta talk, especially when I don't have a guest. Man, I gotta talk. Like right now, if I take a break. Yeah, see. Boring, and you don't like that silence, that dead air. So I can't take a pause like that. So sometimes I just gotta throw a quick 30-second soundbite, clip from a song up there, so I can just take a quick stretch. So I don't think my guest is gonna be on, which I'm over it. For anybody out there that was only here to listen to one Mr. Charlie Delta, I do apologize for I don't know, for him not being on the show. As we all know, this ain't the first time that I've had a guest fall through, and I definitely know shit won't be the last. It's nice. Oh, what is this? A 1 month. Oh boy. Oh, this is an old story. What the hell is this story up? The prosecutor, the judge that sentenced Amanda 30 days for 30 days in jail for raping a 14-year-old student who later committed suicide. That's an old story. Why is this why is this trending right now? Wait, let me see here. Oh, maybe I'll just play this for a second. What is this? Oh, yeah. Prosecutors in Billings, Montana, are looking for legal standings to fight a 30-day sentence handed down to a teacher who admitted to raping his 14-year-old student. Okay, let's hear the story here.
Aaron Burnett out front.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Okay, here. Let's hear the story.
Hanlon. Ms. Hanlon, I can't even imagine what you're going through right now. First of all, our condolences go out to you and your family. I want to ask you, your daughter, Cherise, was raped. We know she later took her own life, and that her teacher, Stacey Dean Rambold, only got a month in prison. What went through your mind when you heard his sentence?
I was horrified. Horrified. There were no words, so I had to leave.
Left the courtroom. I want to know what shocked us was the judge defended his sentence, saying that your daughter seemed, in his words, older than her chronological age and was as much in control of the situation as the teacher. And we just received some new words from the judge explaining those remarks. Would you listen to this for just a moment, if you would?
In the Rambo sentencing, I made some references to the victim's age and control. I'm not sure just what I was attempting to say at that point, but it didn't come out correct. What I said was demeaning to all women, not what I believe in, and irrelevant to the sentencing. I owe all our fellow citizens an apology.
an apology there. So what's your reaction when you hear that?
He broke the law. He doesn't owe anybody an apology. He broke the law. She was 14. She never consented. I never consented. The crime was done. He confessed. And chronological age is irrelevant. He broke the law, he confessed, and he got to walk away.
Yeah. So, ma'am, I don't want this to be too painful for you, so I just want to be gentle here. I'd like to know, how did you learn that
Hold
your
on,
daughter had been raped?
I'm going to pause it. I don't want this to be too painful for you, but it's going to be painful. See, the media, there's a bunch of idiots. Why do you have to say something like that? I don't want it to be too painful for you. I pick up on, but it's going to be painful, and I want it to be painful, but not too painful. Think about the damn words you say, you stupid TV person.
Heard of him before? Had she spoken about him to you?
Not really. I seen his phone number in her numbers because I used.
Okay, enough of that. But yeah, a judge sentences somebody who raped a 14-year-old girl to 30 days in jail, and said, well, you know, she looked older than 14, and that's, you want to talk about an idiot? That's a judge. That, see right there again, term limits for everybody, term limits for politicians, governmental advisors, judges. You know, I think that I don't think there's a reason for somebody like that to be dictating the law. You know, as the father of a daughter, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. But we're gonna play a video here. This is one of the Clive Bundy videos. I'll play a couple of videos, but I think is it gonna play? Oh, it's just a commercial right now. For those that didn't hear this is one of the main things I wanted to talk about. And we'll just wait for the advertisement. Yeah. I can't go back. That judge. Is there anything that happened to that judge? He just apologized for the team rape remarks while that other video is loading. Do I see anything else? Oh, this girl was 16 when she killed herself. Anything here? After 30 days in jail, and Rambolt will be on supervised probation for 15 years and must register as a sex offender. Yeah, I don't. It's just, yeah. There you go, Billings, Montana. That's where this story was from. So, I know I will never move to Billings, Montana. And I hope anybody from Montana is listening. I will never move to Billings, Montana, being the father of a girl, of a daughter. So now here's that Clive Bundy clip that I wanted to play.
Are they slaves the way they are, or where they live? To slaves to charity and government subsidized homes, and are they slaves when their daughters are having abortions and their sons are in the prisons? And you know, this thought goes back a long time. Over the years, let's go back even 40 years ago. You know what I would see? I'd see the older people standing and sitting on the porches. They didn't have a porch; it was just a sidewalk, concrete sidewalk. There'd be a few children playing around, And I could see sadness on those people's face. I don't think they was happy with their government subsidy home. They sort of looked to me like they were slaves. And I thought, would they be happier if they was home with their talking about the South, where they come from? They come to Las Vegas for something better. But would have they been happier at home with their gardens and their chickens and their children playing around them and their family having work to do? Would they? That was the question I asked, and I ask you, would they be happier?
Yeah, that's the and that's the comment that kind of got oh yeah, for a listener, yeah, that the daughter of that girl that was raped, that 14-year-old girl that was raped, ended up killing herself when she was 16. In regards to that, but that story right there that I just played a clip was what got Clive Bundy in I guess in some hot water, I guess in trouble, and I don't know, I just it's kind of, I think that's some backwards thinking. But then here's Clive Bundy talking about Harry Reid, who I'm not a fan of Harry Reid. And if I showed you what media outlets I got these from, you'd find it funny. But here's Clive Bundy on fires back at Sean Hannity. I mean, fires back at Harry Reid. Is it going to load? Okay, I'm going to skip this for a few. Okay, it's just a clip, or is this an interview?
Harry Reid saying that in fact it is not over. Back with us tonight, Nevada rancher Clive Bundy. We're also joined by his two sons, Amon and Ryan. Guys, welcome back. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Clive, and let me, first of all, on Friday I was very, very concerned that this would end ugly. We heard the sheriff saying that the BLM...
Okay. Can we just get to a... Okay, I just want to hear a clip of him talking about Harry Reid, because I genuinely dislike Harry Reid as a politician, but I don't know if I'm gonna get anything now. I'm not gonna get it. Okay. Is this?
Well, I got something to say to Harry. Harry, Nevada citizens, we the people elected you to go back to the United States Senate and take care of the United States business, which might be something like defend us from foreign nations. Harry, get back there and take care of that work and leave us alone here in Nevada. If you have no business here in Clark County, Nevada.
No business in Clark County, Nevada. I don't know. I mean, he's a citizen and and a senator. I think he kind of has business in Clark County, but I know what the guy meant. It's one of those stories I guess I'm never going to get cleared up because didn't have somebody on the what? Oh, I called it. I so called it. Oh, that's so funny. Is this true? Oh man, is this true? Oh man. This is funny. I called this years ago. After tweaking anchor Shepard Smith's newsroom duties last year, Fox News has denied allegations that the changes were a result of Smith asking to come out as gay. A story published by Gawker Wednesday alleges that Smith was taken off of the primetime aired Fox report after attending Fox News topper Roger Ailes' annual 4th of July picnic with his reported boyfriend. Gawker's story reported that around the same time, Smith was renegotiating his contract with the network, and that he had asked Alias to go ahead to publicly acknowledge his sexuality. In a joint statement, Alias and Smith called the story 100% false and completely fabricated. As colleagues and close friends at Fox News for 18 years, our relationship has been rooted in a mutual respect, deep admiration, loyalty, trust, and full support, both professionally and personally. The Gawker story alleged that Smith's superior, Bill Shine, the channel's executive vice president of programming, flipped out when the anchor began introducing his boyfriend to co-workers at the party. But a spokesperson for Fox News said that Shine wasn't even at the 4th of July party and that no such meeting ever took place in regard to Shep, nor would it ever. Smith, in fact, is overseen by Jay Wallace, Senior Vice President of News. Shine runs opinion and programming at the network. The spokesperson also pointed out that Smith's new contract was signed June 7th, the first reported Business Insider, making these allegations impossible. Smith was named the managing editor of Cable News Division last year, and his Studio B program airing at 3 p.m. was renamed Shepard Smith Reporting. He has been at the Cable News Network since 1996. And listen, allegedly, I kind of think Shepard Smith looks like he looks like he's got a little something in the tank. But I think the best line that he ever said was about Jennifer Lopez. Let's hear it now.
J-Lo's new song, Jenny from the Block, all about Lopez roots, about how she's still a neighborhood gal at heart. But folks from that street in New York, the Bronx section, sound more likely to give her a curb job than a blow job or block party. The New York Post, we're sorry about that slip up there. I have no idea how that happened, but it won't happen again. And that's your news. And the G-Block, as Fox reports this Monday, November the 4th, 2002. And still ahead, the most watched prime time in all of cable.
I love that.
J-Lo's new song, Jenny from the Block, all about Lopez roots, about how she's still a neighborhood gal at heart. But folks from that street in New York, the Bronx section, sound more likely to give her a curb job than a blow job or block party. The New York Post, we're sorry about that slip up there.
Oh, that's probably one of the best blooper lines ever. That's the best, one of the best lines I have ever heard. I think there's another one. He's got another one right here. Another good Shepard Smith line.
The deputy police chief says 6 officers were killed, including...
Oh, no, this is another girl. Jane Skinner blooper. I think Shepard Smith was on here, though. I'm going to play this.
The deputy police chief says 6 officers were killed, including the district's top cop after the vehicle they were riding in was...
She tried to say cop, and she did not say cop. She said cock about 3 times. She's talking about, I think, police officers in Afghanistan, I think, were killed in this story. But she said top cock instead of top cop. She said instead of a p. Not allegedly. This is 100% truth right here. I'll play it again because this is funny. And I think Shepard Smith added something on afterwards. His opinion.
Militants. The deputy police chief says 6 officers were killed, including the district's top cop after the vehicle they were riding in was sprayed with bullets. 3 other officers were hurt in the attack. And those are your latest headlines. I'm Jane Skinner. Time now to send you back to Shepard, who is live where? Just outside of Memphis.
South Carolina Gamecocks. She's a big fan. Go South Carolina. Steve Spurrier's the coach there now, Janie.
Do you know how hard it is to read when everyone else in the studio is shaking with laughter at your misfortune?
I know. I've been there, Jane.
You too, me. Just you too, me. Do it now.
Wow. It's Friday, Jane. No one's watching. They're out doing things. Just me.
Has Shep? He's like, that's happened to me billions of times. Being the top cock? I don't know. Are those stories true? Are those stories true, what they say about yeah, Freudian slip? Are those stories true? Because the one story is saying he's gay, and then he's saying, oh yeah, cock, it's happened to me billions of times. I don't know. Sounds a little funny to me, but let's some funny shit. But yeah, my second guest, he bitched. He ditched me. It's okay, because you know what? Never gonna talk about that story again. Never gonna talk about Clive Bundy again. Who cares? You know what? Really, who cares? I don't care. I don't live in Nevada. I'm not a silver miner. I'm not a perpetual gambler. I already had my taste of the Bunny Ranch. I'm not a rancher. I don't care. So I just wanted to get some of the inside scoop of the story, but I guess not. So it's whatever. It is what it is. But next week, you know who I'm gonna have on? I don't know who the hell I'm gonna have on, because I don't have my damn notes in front of me. But oh shoot! In a few days, probably Monday, I'm gonna have the Podbean and iTunes version of my interview. I just I just got a text from from a boss of mine, former boss of mine in the Army. That was I wasn't expecting to read Power Bottom. That is that's but to show that I am fair and balanced, I know I played a couple bloopers from Fox News. I'm gonna play one from MSNBC to show that I am always leaning forward with the fair and balancedness of the news. This is Don Brokaw here, and Shepard Smith is not a power bottom. Okay, but now can I find one? Okay, let's hear this. Is this real? Is this true?
The temperatures change really quickly. Those are the ones that are going to be in the most trouble. Now, extinctions, I don't have to tell you.
This is a story that has to do with climate change on CNN.
The temperatures change really quickly. Those are the ones that are going to be in the most trouble. Now, extinctions, I don't have to tell you, have been part of the natural history of the world for millennia. And man-made extinctions have even happened before. I guess we hunted the dildo into extinction. But the dodo, rather. Forgive me. I'm for millennia.
And what did mankind hunt into extinction? Let's hear that again. Oh, that was. I like that. Let's hear that again.
Millennia. And man-made extinctions have even happened before. I guess we hunted the dildo into extinction. But the dodo, rather. Forgive me. I'm having trouble with my words today. The dodo into extinction. Are we going to see?
Hunted the dildo into extinction. Well, according to Fox News, Jenny Lopez isn't going to get she's not going to get a blowjob or a block party. CNN's reporting that mankind have hunted dildos into extinction. Thank goodness, man. You know, there ain't nothing more horrible than a flock of dildos pecking at your head. Why can't I find one from MSNBC? Oh man, these okay, here's one from Here's one from NBC. Oh no, that's too long. I'm not gonna play that. Oh, why? Wow, MSNBC's got some damn image control. They have no bloopers. Really? Come on. What? Are you serious? What?
In the driver's seat.
Let's hear some bloopers.
First two games of the series from the St. Louis Cardinals.
No.
Victory, God damn it!
Oh.
Praise way!
And then 8-4 last night.
Here's an old one.
Mrs. Reagan and Mrs. Gorbachev have apparently been cool since they first met.
Goddamn pretty three. Little fire three. Victory, God damn it!
Hi, good evening, everybody. It's going on 10 minutes past the hour now. We're a little fuzzy today, but Dennis Dumler is not, so he's going to take a look at the morning's.
They got a producer that's over mic'd over a CNN story, and he, I think he's mad. Okay, let's hear a local news blooper. This is why I am better than any other news program out there. I'm not even a news program. When I mess up, I laugh at it. Okay, but I never mess up. Okay, here's one.
Well, last night, a part of a conversation taking place here in the studio during a commercial break was broadcast to air. The conversation was lighthearted. It was in no way meant seriously. My husband David and I have a truly wonderful relationship, and I'm very sorry that the comments went to air, and I regret any offense that viewers may have taken from them.
Oh, yeah, apparently this news anchor had called her husband an arsehole. Apparently she's in England. I can't believe MSNBC doesn't have a news. Oh, okay. Here's a blooper on for MSNBC. I went after Fox. I went after CNN. I gotta be equal, you know. Let's see this. Joe Scarborough drops the F-bomb. It's a minute and a half. Just killing time, folks. All right. It's called filler time.
Auburn, but these are good, decent, steady men that don't go around flipping people off or screaming "fuck you" at the top of their lungs. I suggest that you missed the Jay Carney story. That was the Jay Carney story. I didn't use the word. Honey. So,
let's hear that again. That's fun. That was good. Good for you, Joe Scarborough. Use adult language. Use language that every adult uses.
Auburn, but these are good, decent, steady men that don't go around flipping people off or screaming "fuck you" at the top of their lungs.
I like that. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's this?
And that the trials are tougher, and in fact, if you look at the record,
no,
it's
too long. Okay, here's a good minute clip with Joe Scarborough and everybody's favorite jerk off, Keith Olbermann.
2 weeks ago, people very close to the Obama campaign were concerned that a bit of, if not arrogance, at least contentment was creeping in. This was a campaign that believed they could not lose. Over the past 2 weeks, perhaps because of Steve Schmidt's new leadership on the McCain campaign, the fact that McCain campaign has been leaning forward with one message, and there are plenty of problems with that message, according to some McCain.
Yeah, that's dumb too. Anything good? Let's get. I want to end on a high note. All right. No, Shaq dropping the F-bomb. No. Oh, okay. Here. I said this is the best one right here. Let's see.
Joyce Evans for the Channel 6 10 o'clock news. Fuck it, we getting out of this joint.
Man, wow, she. Oh, if you could see what she looks like, she. That's funny. Let's play that again.
Joyce Evans for the Channel 6 10.
Hold on. Let's start this over.
Joyce Evans for the Channel 6 10 o'clock news.
Let's play it again.
Joyce Evans for the Channel 6 10 o'clock news. Fuck it, we getting out of this joint.
She stood there for like 5 seconds looking at the camera. Fuck it, we're getting out of here. She got country real fast, and that wasn't her voice that she was using on the camera. Wait a second. I smell fakery. Okay, this is a good one. Before I go, this will be the last one. This is a guy, it was his very first day. It was in North Dakota. It was his very first day on the news. Fresh out of college, and he got a job as a co-anchor of a news program. The anchor is a chick. She's talking, and you just hear, I guess he was trying to memorize a name or trying to pronounce a name correctly, and I don't know if he realized that the cameras were rolling. I remember this came out. That came out about maybe a year ago. So I'm gonna play it. It says that news anchor loses job on first day. TV news anchor AJ Clemente F-bomb. So AJ Clemente F-bomb. If you want to check it out on the tube.
Evening Report Sunday on NBC North Dakota News, your news leader in high definition.
Gay fucking shit.
Good evening, I'm Van Chu. You may have seen our newest AJ on NBC North Dakota News.
They're both standing there, and he looks down at his paper, and if you couldn't hear it, he says, gay fucking shit. I'm sorry for using such sultry language, but he said gay fucking shit on the news. So in high definition, by the way, North Dakota, woohoo, represent the high def. So let's play this again.
Evening Report Sunday on NBC North Dakota News, your news leader in high definition.
Gay fucking shit.
Good evening, I'm Van Chu. You may have seen our newest AJ on NBC North Dakota News, and he'll be joining the weekend news team as my co-anchor. Tell us a little bit about yourself, AJ.
As soon as she goes, AJ's going to be my co-anchor, he pops up and looks at the camera, and his eye, like the color dropped out of his face. Like he just realized, oh man, did I just say gay fucking shit on my first day being in front of the camera at work? I think so. Let's play this really quick again. I like this. My favorite clip ever.
Your news leader in high definition.
Gay fucking shit.
Good evening, I'm Van Chu. You may have seen our newest AJ on NBC North Dakota News, and he'll be joining the weekend news team as my co-anchor. Tell us a little bit about yourself, AJ.
Thanks, Van. I'm very excited. I graduated from West Virginia University, and I'm used to, from being from the East Coast.
I'm used to being from the East Coast. Oh man, the awesomeness of that clip is it does my heart well. But anyway, I'm out of here. I'm going, and I will have I think it's a private investigator dude that's gonna be on next week. So yeah, but I'm not gonna tell you what his name is. It's just gonna be a surprise because I actually forgot his name. So, but anyway, next week, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, Wednesday, Tactical 16 Radio with Silent J. And then also check me out 10 to midnight on the East, 7 to 9 Pacific on Sunday nights, 10 to midnight Eastern Standard Time, 7 to 9 Pacific. It's Center Mass with Rob and Silent J. I am the Silent J of that duo. And I don't think we're going to have a guest on this week because I didn't book anybody. It's good. I was just going to have like a chat And we can talk about some stuff. I think we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So if you like conspiracies, if you like government rants, if you like rants about the crap that's in your food, and if you like talking about, relics of relationships, you know what I mean? Yeah, that'd be a good show, and it's for dudes, all right? So the chicks you girls can listen to. I'm not going to discriminate. I am not one Mr. Sterling, all right? Guys and girls, you can listen to the show on Sunday night. I'll allow it, okay? Even bring a friend. You can even post the pictures on Instagram. But anyway, until then, check me out on Facebook at Tactical16 on Facebook, or Tactical16 Radio on Twitter, or my own Twitter. Name is I'm Silent J. That's on Twitter at I'm Silent J. So check me out. Go to iTunes and subscribe and rate and review the show. If you got an iPhone or iPad, do it. You don't even have to listen to me. Just give me a damn 5-star rating, all right? Treat me like the ex-girlfriend's treated me, all right? I am a 5-star stud. And go to vetsonmedia.com and check out the listings for all the shows, and go to Tactical16 for all your reading veteran pleasure. And I got an article that's going to be coming out pretty soon on Iron Mike Mag. And also, I don't know if it was posted or not, but I wrote an article, So You Want to Host a Show, that I send into Vets on Media for the magazine. I'm going to be sending in my part 2 of that story tomorrow. So I got a couple of articles that are going to be out, and yeah. So do what you do to support me by listening, and I'll do what I do by entertaining you guys and gals for free, okay? And unlike North Dakota, this isn't gay fucking shit. This is awesome, all right? Because I am Silent J. And until next week, everybody, I bid you farewell. Good night, kitties. Meow.
For my family, for my friends, for those that we lost our slave. This is a message, this is for you. Never forget the Lower East Side crew. For my family, for my friends, for those that we lost our slave. This is a message, this is for you. Never forget the Lower East Side crew.
Tactical 16 Radio. Fire in the hole! With Silent J.